Yes, guys, what is happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another live stream. And yesterday at Stamford Bridge, Raheem the Dream, Raheem Sterling bagged 2 goals, his first 2 goals for the club, as 10-man Chelsea ran out 2-1 winners against Leicester City at Stamford Bridge, despite having to play 60 to 70 minutes with 10 men after Conor Gallagher's red card in the first half. I'm really pleased with the Blues yesterday. Just to dig in, show great character after the obviously disappointment against Leeds to then go a man down. I was really impressed with the way that we dug in. We showed character. We didn't let our mentalities drop. We didn't let our heads dip. We ground out a result. And that was really pleasing to see because more often than not, we often see with Chelsea when the going gets tough, we seem to disappear, small mentalities, and we go missing and we often end up losing these games. So that was a real big plus for me, was the fact that we took a big step yesterday in terms of our mentality, in terms of not shrinking when the going got tough. And that was the big plus, obviously. And to be honest, given the circumstances, the main thing was just to get the 3 points on the board and move on to Southampton on Tuesday. So I was delighted with that. But yeah, guys, packed show as always. I've obviously got the F1 starting at 2 o'clock, so it won't perhaps be as long as usual, but I'll pack in as much as I can. I'm just going to get underway with a little bit of transfer news first. And obviously the deal for Wesley Fofana is almost concluded. Obviously, the fee has been agreed with the 2 clubs. And the fact that it's going to be £75 million with add-ons, getting it under that world record fee that Leicester was so desperately wanting to get is really phenomenal business from us. I'm delighted that we're getting him on board. Only time will tell if it's value for money or not, but at 21 years of age, his versatility across the back line, can play in a 4, can play most places in a 3, allows Reece James to play right wing back. I think this is going to be great value for money. And Fabrizio Romano tweeting out this morning that Wesley Fofana is undergoing the first part of his medical today. The main part will be completed in the next few hours, and then contracts will be signed afterwards. And Chelsea and Leicester obviously agreed a fee on Friday, so we could have an announcement re Fofana perhaps as early as tomorrow, if not definitely by Tuesday. I'm not sure if he's going to sign soon enough to feature at all against Southampton, but I think it's probably more likely that we see Fofana make his debut at Stamford Bridge against West Ham next weekend. But that's positive news there, that the Fofana deal is nearing its conclusion, just waiting for the medical to done and then official announcements, contract signs, and then, Fabrizio, as he always says, it's a here we go. So delighted that it looks like that Fofana signing is going to be pushed over the line. Let me have a quick look at these things here. Lee, big up, mate. Thanks for tuning in as always. News of our interest in Gordon and now saying, I'm not sure how true this is. I've seen that doing the rounds as well. Does it stipulate whether it's Gallagher and Brozier on loan, or is it literally permanent Gallagher and Brozier plus a 25 million? Because I think that would be ridiculous. That would be valuing Gordon at almost £85 million if we're offering Gallagher and Brozier and the 25 mil. So would that be on loan, or is that permanently? I haven't seen that, but that would be ridiculous from Chelsea, in my opinion. A loan I can sort of understand, but despite what people think of Gallagher, to let him go on loan when we've got hardly any cover in midfield wouldn't really make any sense to me at all. Agreed, must see Sterling get off the mark. Refreshing to have someone have a go at goal from the edge of the box. Defender's nightmare. Yeah, I agreed with that, mate. It's so refreshing to have someone taking on shots and an attacking player that actually drives at the opposition. But yeah, this final deal hopefully done. Say, medical could be completed today. Announcement maybe as early tomorrow, but definitely Tuesday. But I think it'll be too soon for Southampton. So I think most likely, as I said, West Ham debut, London derby at Stamford Bridge next weekend is probably when we're going to first see Fofana in a Chelsea shirt. And just another bit of transfer news as well, I'll just stop sharing that one there, is that Trevor Chalobah is now also set to stay at Chelsea, which I think is a massive plus. Fabrizio Romano also tweeting out that Trevor Chalobah will not leave Chelsea after talks with Inter, AC Milan and RB Leipzig over a possible loan deal. Chelsea have blocked the move and no change is now expected before deadline day on Thursday. Tuchel and Bowley are decided on keeping Chalobah after internal talks. And I think this is great. This really makes sense to me. Chalobah, I think, is a top player. And actually, I think in the 18 games that Chalobah's started for Chelsea, we haven't lost a single one. I think it's 14 wins and 4 draws. He was really good yesterday, first game of the season. Yesterday was that one mistake where he let Vardy get the better of him and Vardy was through on goal. But ultimately, I think it was a good game from Chalobah. And I think someone with him is young still. He's got plenty of potential to get even better than he currently is. And he's going to be a really important part of the squad. You look at that back three, which are going to play. Fofana, Koulibaly, and Silva are going to be the first choice three. Then we've got options to fill in of Chalobah, Aspie if necessary, Reece James at a push if needed as well, and obviously Cucurella as well. So that really covers it nicely. And Chalobah will be a key part of the squad, whether that's playing in a 4 or whether that's playing in a 3. And yeah, I'm really pleased that the club are kind of seeing sense, because it wouldn't have made sense for me to bring Fofana in and then just let Chalobah go. So yeah, I'm pleased with that. Really pleased that Trevor Chalobah is going to end up staying, because I think it's wise. And after a good season last season, I felt he was kind of a little bit hard done by at the start of this season. Not the best pre-season, frozen out the squad. So I'm pleased to see that he's going to end up staying. Gallagher worth more than Gordon on his own. Broja not far behind either. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on with this Gordon stuff. I think I'm going to be having Ben Jacobs on the show tomorrow, hopefully. So I'll try and get some more info on that Gordon deal and kind of what the latest is there, because it seems a ridiculous amount of money, and to include 2 players as well just doesn't make sense to me. Honest Joel, big up. I want to see Broja get at least 75 minutes one match. Yeah, I think for me, Broja's got to start against Southampton. I think it's as simple as that. Jose, big up, bro. Thank you, mate. Yep, Lee. Hopefully, we do bring Ober in as well, so we can free Kyle. I think for me, like it'll be good to bring Aubameyang in, because not only can Havertz learn from him, but it's also that level of accountability that if he doesn't play well, it'll be benched. Because at the moment, there's not really that level of accountability. Havertz knows he's going to play regardless of what happens, and that's got to change in the squad, because it breeds complacency, in my opinion. I'll get into this with what's up with Mount shortly. And Daniel, do you think Chelsea make deadline signing this summer transfer window? Well, we'll make some signings before the window closes. I'm almost certain of that. Whether there's any surprise ones up the sleeve that no one really knows about, that's different. Yeah, Dr. Phil, agreed, bro. We are in dire need of a midfield player. It's obvious. Are we going to get one? I don't really know. Could the club have something of a surprise up their sleeve? Quite possibly. Things have gone quiet on the Frankie de Jong front. So yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on there, but I agree. We do need a midfield player. Southampton is one of the worst defences in the world. If Broja doesn't get a chance now, yeah, Broja needs to have a chance. I would definitely play Broja on Tuesday, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Yes, transfer window does close on Thursday. I mean, this Anthony Gordon stuff, the Conor Gallagher and Broja being potentially involved in the deal on £25 million doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. But as I said, no major outlets reporting it as of yet. And I've got Ben Jacobs on the show tomorrow, so we'll dig into that a little bit more there. But back to the game itself yesterday, I think that covers off the transfer news. We're still waiting on Aubameyang. There's not an awful lot of updates on that one yet either. Hopefully that does get done. But other than that, there's not too much more to update on in terms of incomings, outgoings as well. I think we're waiting for Anthony to join Man United before Hakim Ziyech can join Ajax. Remains to be seen what fee they will be paying for him. I think we've got to get a fee, because we know Ajax is going to have best part of 100 million euros. So we need to get a fee for Ziyech, maybe 30, 40 million euros. Move him on. What we got here? Any Arsenal update? No, I think we've bid 15 million euros, but I don't really know what's happening other than that at the moment. So yeah, I'll try and bring some more updates on that later on next week, but it doesn't really seem to be any updates as of yet. But yeah, back to the game yesterday. Obviously, I was at the Bridge. Great to be back. First visit there this season. Obviously, we got the win, and people were expecting perhaps a lot of changes from the defeat against Leeds. Something needs to change. Ultimately, personnel-wise, there was actually only one change, with Chalobah coming in for the suspended Koulibaly, but there was a switching system. We saw that back four with Thiago Silva partnering Chalobah, and then we had Cucurella and Reece James as the fullbacks. So it was almost a bit of a hybrid 4-2-2, sort of Jorginho and Gallagher pivot, with Mount and Ruben a bit further ahead, with the twin strikers of Havertz and Sterling. We had to try something different because Leeds was shocking, so something had to change. We went with the back four, and I know a lot of Chelsea fans are advocates of the back four, but for me, I don't think we've got the personnel at the moment to do it. We really need a world-class holding midfield player. And for me, we've just never replaced Nemanja Matic. So the sooner we can do that, the better. I don't think it's going to be this window. With the signings we've made in defence as well, it very much indicates that we are primarily this season going to be playing a 5 at the back still, which I haven't got too much of an issue with, but the signings indicate that we're going to stick with that 5 at the back. But the 4 at the back got a run out yesterday, and obviously Gallagher getting that red card early doors means it was hard to kind of judge how good that four at the back was because we saw it for 28 minutes. I thought we started pretty well. Not amazingly, but we looked fairly solid. Again, I just feel at times we're a little bit sloppy on the ball. And particularly from set pieces as well. Just like, how can we be having an attacking set piece ourselves and then moments later we're a man down and we're being caught on the break? This is happening a number of times now. I'm not really sure why we're struggling to kind of defend set pieces, and obviously we're getting caught in transition from our own set plays. I don't really get that. We started okay, and in terms of the start, I was pleased to see Conor Gallagher given another chance. Yes, I know we were, he was poor against Leeds. Everyone was poor against Leeds, so I'm pleased that he got another chance. But obviously getting that red card, I mean, for me on Gallagher, he's just too eager to impress. I know as a young player at Chelsea, that he's a Chelsea fan. He's from a family of Chelsea fans. He's come through the academy. He's desperate to succeed. I just think he's trying a little bit too hard. He's too desperate to impress for me. It's almost a little bit kind of maybe headless chicken vibes, that he's so desperate to impress. He's kind of charging around the pitch. He's diving in for tackles. He could just needs a bit more discipline, a bit more self-awareness in that midfield. I know he's not a pivot player. I want to see him play further up the pitch, but at Chelsea, you've got to take your opportunities where you're giving them on the pitch. And for Gallagher now, he's had two opportunities, one against Leeds, which he didn't really take, and then this one against Leicester yesterday, which he hasn't taken either. And you just think for Gallagher, like I'm convinced that he deserves more opportunities, and he can still be a success at Chelsea. But you're not really sure perhaps where the next opportunity for him might come from. But for people that are writing him off after 90 minutes of football, an hour against Leeds and half an hour against Leicester, it's just ridiculous. People are so quick to criticize Gallagher for making mistakes, yet we're praising £60 million football players because they run around. I mean, there's severe double standards in the fan base. Academy players seem to be held to a completely different standard than those that have come in for big money. So I don't get that. Yes, it was rash from Gallagher. It was a lack of discipline. He didn't need to do it. There are plenty of people on the cover. Yes, Cucurella, puts him in the shit with that poor pass, which kind of sets up the whole thing in the first place. But Gallagher's got to be more disciplined there. He's got to read the game better. He's got to know that there's cover there for him to allow that run to go on. It was by no means a straight through on goal situation. We had 3 or 4 players covering there. It's just a lack of experience, perhaps a lack of discipline, and just a lack of game management on his behalf. But he's a young player. He'll make mistakes, and I hope he does get another opportunity. Ultimately, it might not work out for Conor Gallagher at Chelsea. He may be sold in the window. He may not be, and it may not work out, but he has to be given other opportunities. He has to be. It's as simple as that for me. Yes, yesterday was a letdown. Luckily, he put something out on Instagram. He apologized. I think that's big. I really rate that. Doesn't have to do that. I rate it. And he's going to take that one personally. As I said, it's from a family of Chelsea fans. He's been at the academy all his life. These are big moments for him. First start at Stamford Bridge. And yeah, he was eager to impress, but just too eager. Needs a bit more discipline. He will get other opportunities, I feel. But yeah, he's got to cut that out. He's got to be careful. He's got to be careful, and he's got to be more disciplined there, as I said. But yeah, for Gallagher, it's disappointing. Hopefully he gets another opportunity to prove himself, because you've got to have more than 90 minutes to prove yourself. I mean, if we're so quick to write players off these days. I'm personally not writing off, but people writing him off after 90 minutes. I would love to have seen what people were like. Imagine if Twitter was around when Frank Lampard was first at Chelsea. I wonder what they would have said about his first couple of seasons at the club. It's ridiculous. Gallagher wants to play for us, as Joel's saying. He should get a decent amount of chances. I agree. What else have we got here? Let me just get to a few things in the chat before moving on. Sterling aside, only 4 games in, all our offensive players have struggled for some time playing with a back 3. Do we keep replacing them until we find players that click, or is it a deeper problem? I don't know. It's an interesting one, Lee. I think, look, the system doesn't help. It requires massively the wing backs, but then for the wing backs to chip in and contribute. But at the end of the day, these attackers aren't bad footballers. It just doesn't seem to be working at Chelsea. And when it's a conveyor belt of attackers signing after signing, more often than not, that isn't working out. You've got to start to look at the system and how we're playing football potentially as well. I don't really know what it is. Look, starting 4 at the back does give us an extra man in midfield. We probably don't look as defensively solid, but just because we've got an extra man in midfield, it doesn't mean we're creating more chances. I don't necessarily think we are. I think long term we will go to a 4, but until we have a world-class holding midfield player, it's not going to happen. What else we got here? It may be a stretch, but the U-turns on Chalobah and Cole are curious, although very welcome. I wonder if it's a sign that the club is keeping an eye on. I don't know, mate. It's hard to tell. I think the Chalobah one is key. I think we need to keep him. And I think it also tells you that when you're potentially willing to get rid of a player, whether that's permanently or on loan, when you've got big clubs interested, like your Leipzigs, like the Milan sides and stuff, that actually, hold on a second, we have got a half decent player on our books here. So yeah, I'm definitely pleased that he's staying. What we got here, Joel Connor really should get a decent. Yeah, I've gone through that. Not many people want to play for us. I like Gallagher as well. Yes, Stan Mount's been poor. Top four's a must this season. Yep, for sure, agreed. But back to the game itself. Obviously, being in a stadium yesterday, we started okay. That Gallagher red card after half an hour, and it did go quite flat. And you're thinking, God, after the 3-0 thrashing at Leeds, down to 10 men at home against a side that's not won a game all season, they're bottom of the table. They've signed no one. Their best players is leaving to join us. You're thinking, oh God, this is going to be a tough afternoon. But yeah, from the last 15 minutes of the first half, it was shocking. It was really, really bad, and we were lucky not to be a goal down. There was one ruled out by VAR, and there was a chance that Jamie Vardy had where you'd expect someone of his quality and his finishing ability to stick it in the net in that first half, and he dragged it wide. So look, I think we're lucky to get to half-time level. But from a Chelsea perspective, the first half was poor. There really wasn't anything offered at all. Literally nothing that I can think of. I was sitting behind the goal we were attacking in that first half, and I can't remember a single chance we really had. I mean, there was the penalty, obviously, that got overturned. It was onside. I feel like Ruben was onside. You look at it, you get stills put up on Twitter after the game. Some of those are given, some aren't given. There's no consistency, a complete lack of consistency with officiating, the use of VAR, how it's implemented. So, yeah, I don't really understand why that was given. But Ruben did well yesterday in getting that run, wins the penalty, but obviously it gets overturned, unfortunately for us. But other than that, I can't really think of anything in the first half. It was dire. There needed to be a change at halftime. There wasn't an awful lot on the bench, but the obvious change was to go to a 3 at the back. Mason Mount came off. Not only was he invisible and poor, but also to make that switch, he was the obvious one to come off. He was always going to leave Havertz and Sterling up in a 2. Mount was never going to be that guy that plays in a front 2. So you can understand why he was sacrificed from a tactical perspective, but also because his performance was shocking. We went with the 3. Aspie, Silva and Chalobah, Reece James and Cucurella as the fullbacks. Ruben in there alongside Jorginho with kind of Havertz and Sterling as a 2. Let me have a quick look here. Charlie, how's the atmosphere? Yeah, mate, atmosphere was good at the Bridge League. It was good to be back. Atmosphere was good. It really ratcheted up a level once Sterling put us ahead. And to be fair, not too long into that second half, Sterling actually did put us ahead. I still can't tell if that was deflected or not, but it's just so refreshing to have an attacking player in the team that actually runs at players, takes players on, and is prepared to actually shoot and have a shot on sight. So many of our players, don't really run and take players on. And then when they get in a position to shoot, they're always looking for a pass rather than just shooting. So it's so refreshing to have someone like Raheem Sterling actually, take these chances on, have a shot. He's not afraid to take a man on either. And I was delighted for him to get his first goal. It was a really good goal as well. He takes the shot on. I can't tell if it takes a deflection or not, but it seems to loop into that top corner over the keeper's head. And, it's against, you could argue it's against the run of play with 10 men. Probably wasn't expecting for us to go ahead, but I felt that we did really well. Sterling did really well to take that goal, and I think it was an assist from Cucurella as well that played it into him. It was no more than we deserved, really. We actually looked better with the 10 men than we did with the 11, which is a bit of a concern. But yeah, we get that first goal, and then there's a great opportunity. Sterling could have had a hat-trick yesterday. He's played in, I think he's played in by Havertz, actually, or Havertz does some good hold-up play in the build-up to it, and Sterling's through on goal, and he should really put it away, but it strikes the post. But we do eventually get that second goal, and it's that Sterling and James link up. The cross from Reece James, by the way, is phenomenal. What a cross it is, by the way. The pace that's on the ball, the precision, the accuracy, and it's just there for Sterling for a tapping at the back post. And it's just so good to have someone that's positionally aware in and around the box. How many times do we put balls into the box and there's no one there? Or how often do we create chances which are a tapping at the back stick? We just don't really do that. And we go 2 goals up. It's 2 goals for Raheem Sterling. And yeah, it's great. First 2 goals at the club. You can see how much it means to him. And this is what we brought Sterling in for, to score goals and to make the difference in the moments that matter. And when you're down to 10 men at home, he made the difference for us. And the Reece Sterling combo, I think, is something that could be really special this season, something that, we can definitely get on board with. But once we go 2 goals up, you're thinking, right, just sit tight, try and hold out. But, with 10 men, and considering it was a hot day yesterday and how long we've been down to 10 men for, Leicester were going to have opportunities and they were growing into the game. There were a couple of warning signs in the first half with Vardy and their disallowed goal. And then again, Jamie Vardy having a few opportunities one-on-one, which you really expect him to do better with. Leicester were growing a lot of set pieces, opportunities they were having. Mendy making decent saves. But they do get the goal back through Harvey Barnes. And I have to say, I do actually like Harvey Barnes. I rate him. He's a direct player. He's a good young player. He's got a decent, I think it's 25 goals and assists in 48 Premier League games, something like that, which is very good. And look, people criticising Mendy, and when a goalkeeper gets beaten at the near post, the first thing to do is easy to criticise. But actually, having watched it back, fair play from Barnes. It's a bullet of a shot, and there's not much Mendy can do. I see people blaming Silva, but for me, ultimately, Aspie is the one that gets skinned out wide. He gets skinned out wide by Barnes, and that there's not much that can be done, and you just have to accept that that's one of those things. But 65, 66 minutes on the clock, and it's 2-1. You're thinking, oh shit, we really need a third here, because we're going to come under a barrage of pressure, and that's exactly what it was. It was a barrage of pressure from Leicester, set pieces, opportunities. Iozo Perez with an opportunity as well. I don't know if he kicks it into the ground or Mendy pushes it onto the crossbar, but it was very close there. Jamie Vardy goes through at the end when he wins the ball off Trevor Chalobah, which was Chalobah's probably only mistake in the game. But we did really well to soak up the pressure, not fold. We defended set pieces really well. There was a lot of those coming in, a lot of corners and free kicks towards the end, but we stood strong. And that was the big plus for me, was the character that we showed, the resolve we showed, the fact that we dug in. Everyone put in a performance. Thiago Silva was phenomenal at the back. Defensively, we were really solid. And I think we deserved the win. We played really well considering the circumstances. And look, I'm under no illusions that we're definitely going to have to play better as the season goes on if we want to be taken seriously. But in the context of this game and the circumstances of the game, the fact 60, 70 minutes of 10 men, to go 2 goals up and then to withstand the barrage of pressure that was inevitably going to come at the end, I think that is a big positive to take going forward. And the win was the most important thing yesterday. The fact that, we are winless in our last 2 games, with the Tottenham draw and the Leeds loss. So it was just all about getting the win. And it was even more special, the fact that we dug in and showed good character. We kept strong mentalities. We didn't shrink. We didn't disappear. So that was a big plus for me. And I don't think there's much else we could have really done given the circumstance of the game. We got 2 goals, which doesn't really happen too often. Sterling stepped up. Reece James was phenomenal. Silva was outstanding. We had some standout performers on the day, but as a collective, I think as a unit, we did really well with 10 men to get the 2 goals, to stay strong under that inevitable pressure towards the end. So I'm pleased with that, and it's definitely something to build upon heading into Southampton on Tuesday for sure. Let me just head into a few things in the chat. I didn't see that, to be fair. Goalie got a hand on the post shot. Yep, Reece Sterling, great. Yeah, Sterling stepped up. I like Barnes. He's got good skill. Players toughed it out. Yes, they did. Silva was good. Do you think De Jong will leave Barcelona? No, I don't think he will. If he was going to leave, I think he would already left by now. I'm just going to get into a few comments from Thomas Tuchel after the game. Obviously, he was in the stands yesterday after that one game touchline ban was upheld. I'm just going to get into a few things on this. Tuchel on Gallagher as well, just saying that, he spoke to him briefly after the game, and it's things like this can happen. It's not purely his fault alone, because it's a set piece for us and it's sloppy how he takes set pieces at the moment. That's what I was going on about earlier. Look, Gallagher obviously has got to do better there. He's got to be more disciplined. But the fact that we're even in that position from our own set piece needs addressing, and teams are breaking on us from our own set play. So we have definitely got to work on that, like Tuchel's been saying. But yeah, we were a little bit sloppy on that front yesterday. We have been sloppy with set pieces. And normally we're so good at defending set pieces. And defending set pieces, this wasn't from defending set pieces, but just the way we set up when attacking set pieces and when defending set pieces has got a little bit sloppy recently. So I can understand that we probably shouldn't have even got into that position in the first place. But once we're in that position, we've got to deal with the situation better. Cucurella's got to not play that pass across the middle of the pitch. He solves Gallagher short there, and you can tell with his reaction, he's really pissed off with himself. He knows he's made a mistake, and then Gallagher's got to be a bit more savvy, a bit more disciplined, a bit more aware of the situation. His game management needs to be better in that situation, by the way. But yeah, let's bring up another few comments as well, because I think Tuchel was pleased with the performance yesterday, and rightly so in my opinion. What did he say here? We lack belief and precision. We can speak it out clearly. It's not good enough how we take set pieces at the moment, and on top of it, we give chances away. We are sloppy on the coverage, bad with the decision making, and how we cover set pieces. And I think that pretty much sums up the Gallagher red card situation perfectly. That we've just got to do better. We've got to set up better. We've got to be more aware of what's going on. We've got to be more disciplined in what we're doing from set pieces, because we can't afford to just get caught out from set plays like that. We just really can't. And we've got to do better with things like that. But yeah, hopefully we will, because normally we've been very good from set plays, but Tuchel not happy with how we're setting up from set plays. So I think that's something that's definitely got to change in that regard for sure. And then just on the performance, you were saying that we still have to improve. As I said, it's hard to analyse 20, 25 minutes. Totally okay. I'd agree with that. We can be more fluid. Definitely agree with that. We're in charge. I probably agree with that as well. But from playing as a team, defending together was a boost. Yep. And then Tuchel going on to say, after a loss against Leeds, it was very difficult to come back in these circumstances. I'm happy that we did. And that's the big thing for me, is that we showed adversity in the circumstances. We came back and we held on to the win and we ground it out, and we can move on from there. We get out with the 3 points and we move on to Southampton on Tuesday. Ramen guy saying Oba isn't coming because of contracts. He wants 2 years. I did see something that Oba wants 2 years. Chelsea only want him for Chelsea offering a 1+1 deal, which I think for someone that's 33, I think that's pretty fair. But if we do really want him and he's the number one target, like we're being told, then we might just have to offer that 2-year deal and move on. But yeah, guys, let's get into some player ratings. By the way, guys, keep smashing the likes if you haven't done so already. There's nowhere near enough likes for the amount of you that are tuning in. So please do smash that like button, guys. It really helps me out. It takes you seconds. So hit the thumb. It helps spread the algorithm as well. So please do hit those likes. And more importantly, guys, please subscribe to the channel as well. If you've not subscribed to the channel and you're currently tuning in, then please do subscribe. We're heading towards 1.5K. I want to reach 2K subscribers as soon as possible. So please smash the likes and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We'd really appreciate all of your support. Let's get into these player ratings now then, guys. Obviously in the chat, put your ratings in. Let me know what you think. We're going to fire through these. So for me, Edouard Mendy in goal. It's a big game for him yesterday after that mistake against Leeds. People have been questioning his form, back end of last season, pre-season, start of this season. A few errors have been creeping in. I actually thought he did well yesterday. I thought he dealt with the one-on-ones with Jamie Vardy really well, kept us in the game. He made some good saves. Distribution at times was a little bit poor. I felt a number of times he just booted it straight out or to the opposition. But he kept us in the game with those Vardy saves. And obviously you can argue, should he have done better at his near post? But for me, mate, I thought Mendy was good. I'm going to give him a 6.5. Definitely good. We're still not out of the woods yet. He's going to have to go on a run of games to do really well. But I think it was half decent from Sterling, from Mendy. Sorry, yesterday. I'll give him a 6.5 for that. Bit shaky, but crucial saves, and 6.5 for me. If I'm going with that one there. Moving on to the back four, let's start with Trevor Chalobah. I was actually really impressed with Chalobah yesterday, considering it was his first game of the season. I felt he defended well. He looks calm on the ball, read the game well. One moment where he was caught out was obviously unfortunate. And at the top level, you can't allow yourself to be caught out like that too often. Luckily, it didn't lead to anything. But yeah, that's always a slight concern. But for me, mate, I think Chalobah is 7. And I really like Trevor Chalobah. I think it's going to be a really important part of the squad. I'm delighted that he's going to be ending up staying at the club. He's going to be a really important part of the squad, whether we play a 4, whether we play a 5, injuries, suspensions and whatnot. He's definitely got a big part to play. So for me, I was impressed with Chalobah. The only downside, as I said, was the fact that he let Vardy get the better of him in that crucial position. But luckily, it didn't lead to a goal. So I go with a 7 for Chalobah. I thought he was really good, and I do really like him. And then moving on to Thiago Silva. I don't really know what else to say about this guy. This guy ages better than a fine wine. He's the best defender in the Premier League, hands down. It's not even a debate to be had. 37 going on 38 years of age. Week in, week out, he just delivers top draw performances. Even when those around him aren't playing well, his standards are always so high. Probably my man of the match yesterday. I know Sterling got 2 goals and Reece James was good, but for me, this guy was a colossus at the back. I don't know if he's going to be able to play every week once the midweek games start coming, because he was looking knackered towards the end. I think he was getting cramp in his calf and whatnot. But yeah, I thought he was outstanding yesterday. Really, really good. He's an absolute leader. He's a warrior. Yeah. And to think he was free, this has got to be one of certainly Chelsea's best ever free transfer signing. And also, I think this could be one of the best free transfers in world football, full stop. Just a phenomenal signing, a phenomenal player. He loves the club. He just gets it. The fans love him. For me, I think an 8.5 out of 10 for Thiago Silva. So I thought it was phenomenal. He's not the quickest, but the way he reads the game makes up for his lack of pace, and he's always one step ahead of the opponent. So I'm going to give Thiago Silva an 8.5. I felt he was really, really good yesterday. And I dread to think what's going to happen when he leaves. If you've got the next generation coming through, the likes of the Chalobahs, your Cucureas, your Fofanas, Koulibaly still going to be here for a number of years. So we are in good hands. But yeah, just a phenomenal player. And what a guy as well. 8.5 for me. Moving on to Reece James then. Obviously in that back four in the first half, second half switched to a back five. So he's playing as that wing back. Really good Reece James yesterday. Set piece delivery was good. Getting up and down that right flank. Dangerous crosses into the box. The assist, by the way, for Sterling. The ball is phenomenal. The pace that's on it, the accuracy, the precision. I don't want to hear any of this Trent stuff. This guy is the best wing back in world football on the right-hand side. It's not even a debate for me. He's got everything. He's got finishing. He's got pace. He's got technique. He's got strength. He's got the lot, and he can defend as well. I don't want to hear any of this stuff that Trent's better than this guy. Trent can't defend. This guy is levels. He is the best in the world. He's one of our own. He's come through in the academy. He was phenomenal yesterday. I'll give him an 8 out of 10. Really, really good Reece James yesterday. And it's not even a debate for me. Best in the world in his position, comfortably, in my opinion. Reece James, 8 out of 10. And that Sterling-James link-up could be something that could really cook this season. Moving over to the other side then, we have got Cucurella. The biggest compliment that I can pay Cucurella is the fact that we're not even discussing Ben Chilwell, the fact that he doesn't start, the fact that we've now got 2 quality players in this position. Every time last season, it's like, God, we need Chilwell back because we're dealing with Alonso and Malang Sarr. Now that we've got Cucurella, no one's that bothered that Chilwell doesn't start games. No one's mentioning it because we've got a quality player in Cucurella, and this is going to bring Chilwell's level on even more. It gives him more time to recover from his injury and get match fit, which is really crucial. And yeah, I felt it was good yesterday. Got an assist as well, so that's 2 assists now already in 4 games for Cucurella. The one blot on his book for me was that pass that sold Gallagher short, and he knows he's got to do better than that. And the fact that he kind of owned up to that mistake. He knew he'd made it. You could tell by his reaction. But other than that mistake, mate, I thought Cucurella was really good yesterday. I'm delighted with him, and a great sign. Look, £55 million plus £7 million add-ons. I'd give him a 7.5. I think he was good, but it just comes down from an 8 from me because of that pass, which sold Gallagher short. But yeah, 7.5 for Cucurella, and a phenomenal signing, and so good to have 2 quality players in that left back position. I've prayed for days like this when there's no Alonso, no Malang Sarr, Cucurella and Chilwell, and we are cooking down that left hand side for sure. But a good game for him yesterday. I was really pleased. Moving on to Conor Gallagher. He only played half an hour. I don't want to be harsh on him, but it's quite hard to give him a decent rating. Look, for me, as I touched on at the top of the show, just too eager to impress. He's a Chelsea boy. He's been here through and through. His family support Chelsea. I just think there should have been a bit more. He needs a bit more discipline. Don't try as hard to impress. He's not a pivot player, but at Chelsea, you've got to take the opportunities when you're giving them, wherever you're giving them on the pitch. And he's just too eager to impress, running around a bit too much in terms of not really sure what he was doing, diving into tackles, a bit of lack of game management. Gallagher will get other opportunities, and I hope he does get them. And the same time will tell if he succeeds at Chelsea or not, but he's definitely got the capabilities to do so. But yesterday, it wasn't great from him. I'd give him a 2 for his efforts before he got sent off. But yeah, you've just got to do better than that. You've got to have more discipline. You've got to have more about you, more awareness about you, more game management, reading of the situation, and that just wasn't there from Connor yesterday, unfortunately. So I give him a 2. Moving on to Jorginho, this guy divides opinion. I don't think he was terrible yesterday, but my big problem with him is too slow on the ball, kills all counter-attacks, takes the pace out of the game. He's a great player to have on you when you're a few goals up in a game, looking to slow it down. Perfect. But when you want quick football, you want to move the ball quickly, you're trying to hit teams on a counter-attack. This guy kills everything. It's sideways and backwards passing, takes so long on the ball, slows everything down. All the momentum's taken out of the game. I don't think he was bad yesterday, but it's the same things with Jorginho. As I say, he's too slow on the ball. He kills the counter-attacks. We don't really get anything from him in terms of attacking contributions. It's just sideways and backwards passing, And on the stats yesterday, he looks good. Most passes completed in the final third, but those kind of stats are misleading. He could have just literally been passing it side to side to get those successful passes in the final third. So for me, we could do better. And I don't know if he's a frustrating player for me. I'd give him a 5.5. I don't think he was terrible yesterday, but it's just the same old problems. Too slow on the ball, passes it sideways and backwards, slows the play down, kills all the counter attacks. And he wasn't terrible yesterday, but I give him a 5.5. And I just want a bit more progression from him. But that's not the sort of midfield player he is. That's why he needs someone a bit more attacking, a bit more creative, playing alongside him. But yeah, 5.5 for Jorginho yesterday. Moving on to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I actually really like Ruben. I felt he played well yesterday. And I'm so pleased to see him getting a consistent run of starts at Chelsea. Everything he's been through, the loan spells, the horrible injury, the setbacks he's had. I thought he was good yesterday. I'd give Ruben a 7. He bombs up and down. He gets around the pitch well. He's such an athlete. For a guy of his size and his physicality, he's so graceful on the ball. He's great when he runs with the ball. He makes things happen. He's a physical presence. My only criticism of Ruben is he seems to have a phobia of shooting. He gets into great positions but never shoots. Last week at Leeds, a great position in the box to shoot, doesn't do it. Against Tottenham, he could shoot in the box. He tries to play Sterling in instead. Yesterday, again, there's a great opportunity for him at the back stick in the first half. Plays it straight at the keeper when he's got virtually all of the goal to aim at. A good break forward for that penalty, which was obviously ruled out for offside. I was pleased with Ruben yesterday. I felt he did well, and I think there's a key place in the squad for him this season, and that he can do a job at right wing back, of course. But I much prefer seeing him a lot further up the pitch, and I felt he did really well yesterday. So I'm going to give Ruben a 7. Again, guys in the chat, let me know your thoughts on the ratings. But yeah, I'm going to give Ruben a 7 out of 10. I felt he did well. If we're being honest, I was pleased with how he did. Moving on to Mason Mount. I don't really know what to say about him. My guy had an invisibility cloak on yesterday. I love Mason Mount, as a lot of Chelsea fans do as well. But this season is 4 games, 4 starts, no goals, no assists. Against Tottenham, he was okay. I thought he did quite well. Tuchel accused him of sleeping against Everton. He was hooked off early there. Terrible against Leeds. And then yesterday he was poor as well. I know he was hooked at half-time, maybe for tactical reasons, because we were going to go 2 up top. We were going to a back 3, but he couldn't argue with coming off either way. He was terrible, non-existent yesterday. And for me, I feel that Mount needs benching for a couple of games. There needs to be that level of accountability that you cannot play badly and expect to start every week. There's got to be that level of accountability. Otherwise, we're just promoting mediocrity within the squad that it doesn't matter how you play, you're always going to start the next week. So, yeah, for me, it's not quite happening for Mount. I don't really know what the answers are. For me, I feel he should play as a number 8 in midfield. That's his natural position, but he's playing as part of the front 3 because he posts good numbers and he's kind of the only consistent performer in that front line. Obviously, Sterling coming in is a big plus, takes some of the pressure off Mount, but I think Mount could do with being benched for a couple of games, just, having a bit of a breather. He's played a lot of football. He's still a young player. There are going to be inconsistencies there, but for me, he was terrible yesterday. Literally offered absolutely nothing. I mean, I'll probably give him a 2.5, just a tiny bit more than Conor Gallagher because he didn't get sent off. But yeah, it's not good enough from Mount. Considering how good he can be and what he's shown for us, 30 goals and assists last season, this wasn't good enough. It really wasn't. And I love Mount, but he's got to be benched for the next couple of games now. He shouldn't be starting against Southampton on Saturday. He just shouldn't. But on Tuesday, sorry. But we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, a poor game from Mount. He struggled at the start of this season. Not influential in any games at all. You could argue his best game was Spurs, where he was picking up good positions in the pocket, but yeah, not good enough for a player of his quality and what we're used to expecting. And so I feel he's got to be benched. Moving on to the front two then, guys, to round out the stream. Raheem Sterling, first 2 goals. I felt he was really good yesterday. Arguably could have been in for man of the match. But yeah, I thought he played well. He took his goals well. Someone just direct, takes players on. He's in the right place at the right time. He has a shot. And yeah, he missed a couple of opportunities, but he's the only player in the attack that's actually direct, runs at players, takes them on, he shoots. And this is what we signed Sterling for, to be the difference in the key moments. And yesterday, he was the difference in those key moments. Look, by no means are we going to get the Manchester City Sterling, because we just haven't got the same sort of players. We don't play in the same sort of way. There's no Fodens, Mahrez, Grealish, etc. feeding him, De Bruyne's. He's not going to get as many opportunities at Chelsea. So he's going to have to go from perhaps like a 1 in 4, 1 in 3, 1 in 4 chances converted. He's going to have to lower that to perhaps a 1 in 2 chances or 1 in 3, because we don't create anywhere near as many chances. So a missed chance at Chelsea is highlighted far more than it is at Manchester City, just due to the sheer volume of chances that they create compared to us. So he's going to have to improve his finishing. But yeah, he was the difference yesterday. I'm really pleased for him to get 2 goals. And it's exactly why we signed him. But we've got to make it clear that we are not getting the Raheem Sterling that was at Manchester City. It's going to very much be a different Raheem Sterling, but someone that can definitely be influential and make a difference. But we need more than him. We can't just have Sterling. We need more. And that's why I'm hopeful Aubameyang is going to come in before the window closes. But we need more up there. But I felt Sterling was really good yesterday. So I would give him an 8.5 out of 10. And now let's move on to Kai Havertz. I was really critical of Havertz, and I have been for a while now. Last week at Leeds, I thought it was awful along with everyone else. This week he was better, but for me, the fact he doesn't set the price tag, I totally get that. But for 70-odd million pounds plus with add-ons, we're setting the bar so low that we're applauding Kai Havertz for running around the pitch and putting a shift in. I just don't understand this. I mean, is the bar really that low for someone playing as a striker at Chelsea that he's getting rewarded and praised for running about? I mean, come on, seriously. You expect so much more from this guy. Look, the fact that we're still having a discussion in his 3rd season, what his best position is or what he is a problem in itself. For me, just not good enough on the ball. Link-up play is not there. It's non-existent, really, in my opinion. Assists and goals are just not there. For an attacker, all right, yes, you want stuff off the ball, etc. And I felt he was good off the ball yesterday. But it's what you do on the ball that's different. It's one of the only areas of the pitch where goals and assists do matter. And I'm not saying you if you don't get a goal or assist, you play badly, but that's what you're judged on. Havertz is just not delivering on any of those fronts whatsoever. Yes, he was better yesterday. He put himself about a little, but he ran around. He put himself on the floor trying to win a few fouls on that. He just worked hard. And I'm sorry, but Kai Havertz is dining out on that Champions League winning goal. He's feasting on it. If you take that away, this guy's been no better than Timo Werner. And people might not like to hear that, but in my opinion, it's the facts and it's the reality. Havertz minus the Champions League final goal has been no better than Werner. We don't know what his best position is 3 seasons into his time at Chelsea. And yeah, I just don't know what to say about him. He was better yesterday. He put himself about a little bit, but this guy's got to get goals and assists. He's a notoriously slow starter as well. Most of his goals come in the second half of the season. And you expect so much more, so much better. And for me, Bro's just got to start on Tuesday against Southampton, because Havertz, 4 games now, no goals, no assists, hasn't really contributed at all. And the fact we're praising him for running around is, I mean, come on, we've got to do better than that. It really is. It's not acceptable, that sort of praise for running about. But for me, I thought it was okay yesterday. He did better, and he was all right. I'll give him a 5.5, but this guy's got to step up. He needs to be dropped as well. Like Mount, he needs to spend a couple of games on the bench just to know that if you don't perform well, you're going to be benched. And there is standards to be held at Chelsea Football Club. And if the standards at Chelsea Football Club from the fans are to applaud someone for running around and working hard on the pitch, then we've got to raise our standards, because you expect so much more for someone we've paid a lot of money for, and he's just not delivering in the most crucial of matters, goals and assists. But I give a 5.5 for Kai Havertz, but I mean, ultimately, it wasn't really good enough from him, and there needs to be improvements, and he needs to be benched. He needs to hold the bench for a couple of games, I feel, just to let him know that, mediocre performances aren't accepted. If you don't play well, you're going to be benched. But the problem I think we've got is the fact that the other options on the bench don't actually really want to be at the club anyway. So it is a bit of a problem. So hopefully I think Aubameyang coming in, if he does, we can get that over the line. That's going to be a positive for Havertz. Maybe it's someone that he can play off. And it's also going to be, accountability that if he doesn't play well, he will be benched, because Aubameyang will take his place. So, yeah, I think those are positives. But yeah, for Havertz, got to do more. You need more output. You know, you've got to have more output. Yes, he's okay off the ball, but £70 million. You want output on the ball in goals and assists, and he simply is not delivering that. And he's got to step up. Otherwise, if we have another season like last season, then questions will have to be asked about his future at the end of the season. But I mean, that pretty much rounds out my player ratings, guys. Obviously, let me know your thoughts in the chat and the comments if you're going to be watching this back, whether you agree or disagree. But ultimately, the win was the most important thing. And we dug in, we showed great character. And obviously, we move on to Southampton on Tuesday, a night away from home. We have a good record against Southampton. I think we put 6 past them there last season. We always tend to do pretty well. So if we can just get another win, a win on the road, we've not done too badly away from home. So that would be really crucial. And yeah, I'm delighted yesterday with the character we showed. Hopefully, with a couple more signings before the window closes, get a Aubameyang in, maybe get another one as well, whether that's the midfield, whether that's another attacking wide player. But ultimately, yesterday, given the circumstances, or just even without the Gallagher red card, the most important thing was to get the 3 points. We got those. I'm delighted that we showed great character and we dug in. But I'm under no illusions that we're going to be taken seriously. We have to improve. We must improve. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you taking the time to tune in this Sunday lunchtime. If you're tuning in from the UK, hope you enjoy the rest of your bank holiday weekend. If you've got the day off work tomorrow, then enjoy that as well. As always, guys, really appreciate you tuning in. I will be back tomorrow. I think I've got 2 streams on the channel tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow with Ben Jacobs for a transfer special and at lunchtime, 1 o'clock. And then I'll be back later on in the evening for a Southampton preview as well. So, guys, make sure you keep your eyes peeled for both those shows. Make sure you tune in as well. But yeah, on your way out, guys, please do smash the likes. Get those likes up. There's nowhere near enough likes still. You're doing well, but you can do better. So smash that thumb on your way out. It really helps spread the stream, and the YouTube algorithm makes it available to more people. So please do that. And more importantly, guys, please do subscribe to the channel on your way out as well. I appreciate all of your support, each and every one of you. It'd be great if you could subscribe and join the community that we are building here with the channel. So like and subscribe on your way out. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll be back tomorrow with 2 streams. But until then, take care and up the Chelsea.